Welcome Trinidad and Tobago to our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Nicola Barito. Let's take a look at the headlines. The countdown is on for the arrival of the U.S. Vice President. More attempts by the government to reduce the food import bill. And the Police Complaints Authority continues with its public outreach program. To our top story, U.S. Vice President Joseph Biden will continue his three-nation hemispheric tour when he stops in Trinidad and Tobago for a two-day state visit. The Vice President's visit has attracted regional heads of state and government who are expected to begin arriving in this country.
Vice President of the United States of America, the Honorable Joseph Biden, and his wife, Dr. Jill Biden, will arrive in Trinidad and Tobago as a guest of the government. Prime Minister, the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar, has agreed to use the opportunity of the Vice President's visit to facilitate her fellow heads of state and government from CARICOM as well as the Dominican Republic. Discussions on matters related to, inter alia, regional security, trade, human and social development, and energy with Vice President Biden are expected to take place, and it is anticipated that this meeting may serve to lay the groundwork for robust cooperation during the U.S. administration's second term. Vice President Biden and his delegation will arrive at Piaco International Airport on Monday evening and will be welcomed by the Prime Minister and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Winston Ducaran, on behalf of the government and people of Trinidad and Tobago. The Vice President would be invited to inspect a guard of honor, following which the Prime Minister would introduce him to members of her cabinet and other officials. The Bidens will pay a courtesy call on their Excellencies, President Anthony Thomas Aquinas Carmona and the First Lady, Mrs. Romina Carmona, on Tuesday, following which they will leave for meetings at the Diplomatic Center. Prime Minister Persad-Bissessar and Vice President Biden will meet privately for bilateral discussions before the multilateral meeting between the heads of state and government. The Honorable Prime Minister will host a luncheon for the visiting delegations at the Diplomatic Center, following which a media conference is expected to take place, and Vice President Biden and his wife will depart Trinidad and Tobago later on Tuesday afternoon. Nikolai Edwards, News 4.
In other news, the Ministry of Food Production is making strides toward establishing local agricultural industries to reduce the food import bill and supply local demands. The latest initiative of the ministry is aimed at the local rice industry.
Trinidad and Tobago is expected to domestically produce 50% of the local demand for rice by the year 2018. This, according to Minister of Food Production, Senator the Honorable Devan Maharaj, who revealed during the post-cabinet news briefing on Thursday that steps are being taken to revitalize the local rice industry.
One of the major shortcomings identified in the rice industries of the past was its state-centric construct, a public sector model essentially. Inherent in that model were a number of inefficiencies from both the rice production and milling side. Some of the important challenges identified include, on the production side, limited availability of high-quality certified seeds of high-yielding varieties, low productivity, low-quality paddy produced by farmers, lack of appropriate drainage, unavailability of timely and efficient mechanical harvesting, high dependence, outdated production technologies, and so on. On the milling side, a mill of low efficiency when benchmarked against regional and international milling standards. The local mill has a conversion rate, paddy to finished rice, of approximately 47%, whilst the international standard is in the vicinity of closer to 60%.
The Honorable Minister noted the efforts that have been made since 2012 toward bolstering the local rice industry. Minister Maharaj also spoke of the projects that his ministry will undertake in the upcoming months.
During the period January to June 2013, phase 1 of the plan, the Ministry of Food Production will be assisting, or has been in the process of assisting, 55 new and former rice farmers on both private and state lands in preparing some 558 acres with the best practices in land preparation. Further, it is proposed that during the period July to September, 2013 Phase 2, an additional 50 farmers will be similarly assisted in preparing some 758 acres with the best practices and land preparation. We are currently facilitating the purchase of certified commercial rice by the private sector from Guyana for local farmers for the period 2013 to 2014. That's rice seed. We have established a technical framework for technical cooperation between the government of Trinidad and the government of Guyana with respect to the development further of the local rice industry. The ministry is also in the process of purchasing a state-of-the-art rice combined harvester to support the harvesting of an additional rice paddy to be produced within the next year by small, medium farmers in South Trinidad.
The Honourable Minister says his ministry is in the process of finalising a public-private sector partnership agreement for the establishment of a modern state-of-the-art rice mill with parboiling facilities having the capacity to mill some 40,000 tonnes of paddy per annum. He also revealed that the Inter-American Institute for Technical Cooperation has assisted in preparing a draft strategic plan for the development of the rice industry 2012-2022. Through this thrust, the government is expected to save $112.8 million annually. Nikolai Edwards, News 4.
When we come back, the Police Complaints Authority continues its public outreach program. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. The Police Complaints Authority has visited a number of communities in and around Trinidad and Tobago as it provides citizens with information relating to its operations.
The Trinidad and Tobago Police Complaints Authority has taken a historic move by embarking on a public outreach program. The Police Complaints Authority Act, proclaimed on January 1st, 2007, replaced the Police Complaints Authority Act 1993, which provided for complaints against police officers to be sent by the then Police Complaints Authority to the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service for investigation. However, the Act of 2007 established the PCA as an independent corporate body mandated to investigate complaints within its remit without the involvement of the police, monitor the police service, carry out audits into police reports, and put forth recommendations that will aid in eliminating the rogue elements in the TTPS. Recently, the PCA ventured to Tobago, where two public engagements were held, first at the Argyle Community Centre and then at the Moriah Community Centre. As director of the PCA, Gillian Lockie, gave an overview of the roles and responsibilities of the PCA. She noted that complaints brought to the authority were to be investigated if they fell into three categories.
This new PCA can now investigate three kinds of matters: criminal offences involving the police, police corruption, and serious police misconduct. So those are always the three things. If you have any complaint against the police, it has to fall into one or more of those particular categories.
Ms. Lockie took up the post of PCA Director on December 29, 2010, and has been steering the authority at full speed toward ensuring its mandate is executed efficiently. Speaking to those at the community centre, she says every organization, especially the PCA, must operate following the guidelines of the acronym RICE. That is, it must be relevant and rigorous, independent, confidential, and effective and efficient. Ms. Lockie noted that at present, the PCA has only one operational office located at Tower D of the International Waterfront Centre, Port of Spain. However, she brought good news to the residents of Tobago.
You cannot say that you are treating Tobago equal to Trinidad if you have an office in Trinidad and you don't have an office in Tobago. If you want to say there's equality and you want to say that Tobago is our sister isle, we have to treat our sister isle as a true sister. And I'm happy to indicate that we had said by June, but by the end of June, we would have secured premises and we are opening a full-time operational office, not like a shop, with ours in Tobago.
Those gathered were able to ask pertinent questions on the PCA during a highly interactive session. Persons are encouraged to utilize the services of the PCA in lodging complaints against members of the police service who have been found guilty of corrupt practices. The office hours of the PCA are Mondays to Thursdays from 8 a.m. to 4:15 p.m. and on Fridays from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., while its hotline is 800-2-PCA or 800-2722. Nikolai Edwards, News 4.
The Ministry of Tourism has recognized the hard work and commitment of lifeguards at the nation's beaches and rivers by hosting a gala event in their honor.
You have the distinguished tasks, lifeguards, of protecting and preserving life. Very few people have that singular, distinct honor. That is to be embraced and treasured as you remain grateful for such an opportunity. Many of us can talk and laugh, and we are not even aware of the magnitude of what you actually do. But I want you to be aware of what you do and why you do it.
A lifeguard is the most essential feature at the nation's beaches, especially when one considers the number of incidents that can occur during a Sunday beach bath or a river lime. Many will argue that the efforts of those who put their lives at risk to protect others cannot be fully appreciated or compensated. However, as a small gesture, the Ministry of Tourism recently held its Lifeguards Awards and Appreciation Dinner ceremony at the Hyatt Regency Trinidad.
Tonight is not merely a trophy distribution formality, but far more importantly, it serves to emphasize the critical role lifeguards play in the protection of human lives, of local residents, and of course our international visitors as they enjoy the beauty of our beaches.
Minister Cady says there is a need for more qualified lifeguards on the nation's beaches to eliminate the number of incidents that occur at sea. He also noted that continuous and more rigorous awareness programs throughout Trinidad and Tobago are necessary to sensitize the population to sensible practices at beaches and rivers, especially in light of the fact that there are a large number of persons who do not know how to swim.
So it is in this regard that the Ministry of Tourism has begun the process of structuring the lifeguard services in order that it may become a very professional unit. We have started on the path to building a unit that will meet international standards. We are looking at developing a lifeguard service that caters for the creation of an effective career structure for lifeguards with a set of terms and conditions of employment that accurately reflect the skills and responsibilities of the duties being undertaken.
During his address, Minister Cady noted that a massive refurbishment of the Maracas Beach has been planned and upon completion would become a model beach not only locally but also internationally. He says this should take approximately 12 months and similarly upgrades to other national beaches are likely to take place. This move will assist lifeguards on duty and by the same token invite a large number of visitors to the beaches while enhancing their experience. Nikolai Edwards, News 4.
When we come back, volleyball action with Wayne Cunningham. Stay with us. The Trinidad and Tobago Volleyball Federation hosted the first of two high-level international tournaments on the weekend when the Women's World Championship qualifier was contested at UE Spec. Following Saturday's matches, the Calypso Spikers already secured a spot to the next round of qualifying, but they were hunting top honors on Sunday. Wayne Cunningham has the highlights.
Anguilla and Honduras met at the University of the West Indies Sports and Physical Education Center at St. Augustine in the third-place playoff of the Nautical Women's second-round Group 1 qualifiers to the 2014 World Volleyball Championships. The gentle touch of Michelle Flores got the first point on the board for Honduras. That was immediately followed by this service point from Elena Barahona. This was the longest rally of the game, but no reward for Anguilla's hard work. Honduras eventually winning Game 1 by a handsome 25-9 margin. Game 2 saw a bit more fight from the ladies in white. Susan Webster with a spike. But the Central Americans were always a stronger outfit, as Rikisha Liverette found out. (25-18) the score in Game 2. Anguilla gained some composure as the game went along. And they put up a fight in the third. But it was Honduras taking third place, as Game 3 also ended 25-18 in their favor. The final was contested between host Trinidad and Tobago and Caribbean rivals Barbados. The Calypso Spikers swept the Bajans 3-0 in the round-robin phase of the tournament and were clear favorites to capture the trophy. Barbados apparently remembered that encounter and got off to a fast start in Game 1. TNT responded well though, as Kellyanne Belingi dispatched this spike with venom. Followed by an equally wicked serve from Shannon Thompson, which literally put Barbados on the back foot. Belingi, with her back to the net, registers another as Trinbago begins to pull away. Barbados could not handle Thompson at the net as she puts away point number 25 for the locals to take Game 1. The battle intensified in Game 2, Crystal Estelle looking to pull the host level as their opponents led early. The Bajans were having none of it as they smelled blood and took Game 2. Estelle started Game 3 strongly for the home team. And they also finished well to take that one 25-17 and a 2-1 lead in the match. The visitors fought hard in Game 4 but never got close as Captain Crystal Estelle and her team won that one 25-20 to win the match by 3-1 and capture the title. Wayne Cunningham, News 4 Sports.
When we come back, Trinidad and Tobago celebrates with the Queen on her birthday. Stay with us. Diplomats and government officials gathered at the local British High Commission to celebrate Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II's 87th birthday. British Ambassador Arthur Snell joined in sharing the local celebrations by looking back at the mutual relations shared as a result of the established ties between this nation and the British monarch.
Local dignitaries and government ministers gathered to celebrate Her Majesty's Queen Elizabeth II's 87th birthday at the British High Commission's office in Sinclair. Although the Queen herself was not there in attendance, celebrations included a look back at the commonalities that define diplomatic ties between both nations. High Commissioner to this country, Arthur Snell, spoke of the established links Trinidad and Tobago had with the British.
The past 50 years of the bilateral relations between the United Kingdom and Trinidad and Tobago have seen a transformation from the United Kingdom being the first country to recognise the independence of this new country finding its way in the world, to what we have today, which is a relationship based on mutual respect, very strong economic links, and a shared commitment to many international norms.
Trade Minister Vasant Bharat was one of the ministers in attendance and also took a journey down the past and looked at where the Queen's reign made an indelible mark on Trinidad and Tobago's historical landscape.
For Trinidad and Tobago, 2012 marked 50 years of diplomatic relations with the United Kingdom, during which Trinidad and Tobago was fortunate indeed to have welcomed Queen Elizabeth II to our shores on no less than 3 occasions, in 1966, 1985, and again in 2009. In 2012, as alluded to by His Excellency, Trinidad and Tobago was pleased to welcome the Earl and Countess of Wessex in a joint celebration of Her Majesty's Diamond Jubilee and Trinidad and Tobago's 50th anniversary of independence. I would like to think that Her Majesty's visits, as well as those by other members of the royal family, are testament to the strong bond that exists between our nations. Indeed, Trinidad and Tobago views the United Kingdom as an important partner with a key role in several sectors. There are over 40 British companies operating in Trinidad and Tobago today in a variety of fields, including oil and gas, tourism, telecommunications, and construction. The United Kingdom has consistently demonstrated its interests in investing in Trinidad and Tobago, as evidenced by the trade missions and exhibitions in the areas of food and beverage, education, renewable energy, and security. We look forward to more of those and to seeing the seeds of those trade missions continue to bear fruit in the form of investments and meaningful synergies.
His Excellency Commissioner Snell says these ties extend to more than diplomacy, but in the realms of business and culture.
The work of British companies, both large and small, in this country remains significant, both in the energy sector and more widely. The hard-working UK Trade and Investment team in the High Commission has worked to bring a variety of trade missions to Trinidad in such areas as renewable energy, security, and other related sectors. We also participated in the Global Entrepreneurship Week, which brought the Trinidad-born Baroness Benjamin, who's now a member of our House of Lords, to be a keynote speaker at the Youth Business Trinidad and Tobago event in San Fernando.
As the second longest reigning monarch of the United Kingdom and the second longest serving current head of state, Queen Elizabeth also holds a position as the head of the Commonwealth. Minister Bharat says it's this that has made her a true world leader and exemplar.
It is to Her Majesty's role as head of the Commonwealth of Nations that I wish to draw your attention. Queen Elizabeth II has set a sterling example of leadership, characterized by strong personal faith and a sense of duty. From her accession to the throne at the tender age of 25, Her Majesty has dedicated her life in service to the people of the United Kingdom, leaving an indelible mark not only to the citizens or on the citizens of her nation, but on the wider international community. I wish also to recognize Her Majesty's steady hand at the helm of the Commonwealth and her invaluable contribution to the organization, which strives to be a force for peace, democracy, equality, and good governance, a catalyst for global consensus building, and a source of assistance for sustainable development and poverty eradication.
Last year, the monarch celebrated its Diamond Jubilee, marking the 60 years Her Majesty has reigned. Kimberly Ramkalawan, News 4.
Well, that's how we wrap up this edition of our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Nicola Barreto. Thank you for joining us.